Okay, hi everyone, good evening and welcome to my Facebook Live event this evening. First of all, thank you all very much for taking the time to watch and taking time out on this Thursday night to find out a little bit more about what I've been rabbiting on about recently. So first off, just to set a little bit of the scene for the flavour of what we're going to do this evening. First off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the fact, the science, if you like, behind the spirituality, and talk a little bit about how I came to connect with what I'm talking about this evening, which is Starseeds and Lightworkers. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what it actually is, what a starseed is, what a lightworker is, because I know there's a lot of people that are really connecting with what I'm doing on my YouTube videos. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to watch and subscribe. My YouTube's in its 4th week now and getting over 1,000 viewers, so it's really getting out there, and a lot of people are obviously relating to what I'm talking about and hopefully using my experiences and my methodology to try and help their life a little bit as well. But what a lot of people ask me, a lot of people are connecting with what I'm doing and what I'm talking about with regards to using the tools that I'm using and using the methods that I'm using to really make themselves feel happier and make their life a lot better and a lot more complete, even without necessarily connecting with the belief structure. And it's not something, the whole starseed and lightworker thing isn't something that I've been in a great detail to on my videos. The reason being is what I wanted to do first of all is connect with people and really give them a background of what I'm trying to achieve and how I'm trying to help people without really thrusting the belief system on people. But I have got a heck of a lot of feedback from people that are really connecting with the spirituality side, really connecting with the systems that I'm using, such as the unlocking the matrix, the law of attraction, to really manifest what you want. And so I've had people asking me to talk a little bit more detail about this particular subject and what is a starseed and lightworker. So that's what I'm going to be doing this evening. I'm going to be going into a little bit more detail with that and explaining a little bit about what a starseed and a lightworker is, some examples that might relate to you and how you know that you might be a starseed or a lightworker, if it's something that you feel you may connect with or you already have a little bit of spiritual connection with you. And then lastly, I'm going to give some examples of some starseeds that you may already know, that's going to probably shed a little bit of light and a little bit of surprise. What I want to talk about first of all, though, is how I came to this way of thinking and this belief system. As a lot of you that will know me or don't know me may already do or don't know, I'm not a great spiritual person. Don't come from a great spiritual background. My belief system has always been science. So when I was drawn to the belief system and this whole methodology I'm going to talk about tonight, I was drawn to try and find out the science behind the facts without the blind belief. And what I can tell you is there's a lot of science and a lot of facts to really back this up. Everything I'm going to talk about tonight, there are some real strong scientific evidence to back it up, as well as what I've been finding and more been searching is it's not some crazy belief structure that is just isolated to a few. This is really millions and millions of people are connecting with this. As such, there's been the first article on the mainstream news in America a few days ago, which there is a link for on my page, or if you want to see that article, send me a private message and I'll share it with you. But it was on a mainstream news article talking about lightworkers and starseeds and the spiritual awakening of the planet. So this isn't something that's limited to, a couple of crackpots with these wild theories of what the world may contain or conspiracy theory or anything like that. This is something that has over millions and millions of followers already. It's credible in the fact that it's had national news coverage in America, and some real credible other documentaries to back it up as well. On my YouTube channel there's a playlist called The Pyramids, which has some really good documentaries on exploring the science behind the spirituality and the methodology of what I'm talking about that really makes sense. There's a really good Netflix series called Unlocking the Pyramids, which gives an absolutely fantastic insight into what I'm talking about in the history. I encourage anyone that's got an interest in what I'm talking about tonight to check out the works of Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon has been practicing and given seminars worldwide on this subject for over 40 years. So there's a lot of evidence and a lot of methodology out there. So what I want to just start by talking about this evening is the question a lot of people have asked me is exactly what is a starseed? What is a light worker? So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit this evening. So essentially, a starseed is anyone that feels some excitement or a longing or an experience that they might not necessarily be solely from this world. So I refer back to my previous video on ADHD, bipolar and mental health, and refer back to my own experience that I've always had this feeling that I didn't quite belong. I've always struggled to connect with the rest of the normal people, and this is part of the Starseed methodology. So some examples of what a starseed or light worker might go through in some experience is if you connect with that you've got an experience of loneliness or separation, or you have this sense that you're a foreigner on this planet, and you find perhaps starseeds find the behaviour and motives of society puzzling and illogical sometimes, and they're often reluctant to become involved in what I'd say the institutions of society. So whether that be political agendas, economic agendas, healthcare, even from an early age, someone that's connecting with the philosophy of being a starseed, even if you're not aware of it as yet, is someone that's tend to have a discern of hidden agendas and a conviction of unusual clarity. So that's a little bit about the background of a starseed. What I'm going to do now is just talk about what the definition of a starseed is. So a starseed could be, I guess, described as a being or an entity from another planet, star system or galaxy who's specifically come here on Earth to assist everyone else, planet Earth, and all of the people on the Earth, to bring in the golden age at the turn of the millennium, which is actually 2012. So starseeds have come here essentially to help promote this golden age of unconditional love and bliss, and raise a vibration of the planet and the human race, and to help us all move away from the negativity that's in the world right now, such as everything to do with politics and war and everything else. But when starseeds come here, we incarnate into the same conditions of helplessness as human beings, what I call three-dimensional. So this whole human structure is the third dimension. And they undertake what I call a veil of forgetfulness. So they have total amnesia, concern anything to do with your identity and your purpose on Earth. However, and this is the important bit, the genes of starseeds are encoded with a wake-up call, if you like, designed to activate at a predetermined moment in life. So some people may have this activation and may have this connection with the stars and being a starseed from a very young age. as we're finding with those children born around 2012, which is the beginning of the golden age. There's a lot of spiritually minded children, and generally high vibrational and good children being born around this period. Or you may be later on in life, such as, if you look at the work of Dolores Cannon, this is something she didn't discover till she was in her 40s. I myself was 39. So your DNA is pre-coded with this wake-up call that's designed to activate when is the right time for you to help raise the Earth's vibration of this unconditional love and bliss. And the awakening varies according to the individual and according to the experience. It can be quite gentle and gradual, so it could be an interest in different forms of spirituality, such as Reiki, crystals, meditation from an age of discovery, or, like in my example, it could be something quite dramatic and abrupt. In either event, the memory is restored to varying degrees. So this allows starseeds to consciously take up their missions, which is their connections to your higher self, which is something I talk about a lot in my videos, and there's meditations to connect with your higher self. And also their connections to the higher self are strengthened, permitting them to be largely guided from their inner knowing. So it's this awakening of letting go this 3D human consciousness that involves fear, anxiety, worry, and all of these lower vibrations, and really moving it into a higher vibration state and that connection with your higher self, to allow you to fundamentally not make the decisions, but know the decisions deep in your heart from your connection with your higher self. So some of the common traits, many starseeds are practicing rapid spiritual weight loss. Starseeds can throw off in a few years the limiting patterns and fears of that Earth humans may take many lifetimes to accomplish. So this spiritual awakening can be like a big bang, where suddenly you might have someone that's activated but not quite ready to become a starseed, that might have an interest in the supernatural or spirituality or things like this, but activated starseeds will suddenly have a boom. Like, for example, I myself 8 weeks ago didn't really have any interest in spirituality, didn't have any interest in meditation, didn't have any interest in any of what I'd call bunkum. All I was really interested in was the science and black and white and what you could measure. But when my spiritual awakening happened 8 weeks ago, I've suddenly had an explosion of not just interest in things that I've never taken on board before, like meditation and spirituality, but a knowledge as well. Suddenly I know so many things to do with meditation and hypnosis and healing and connection to the higher self. And what I'm finding is this is just something that it's really hard to explain. It's something like I'd suddenly wake up, or after meditation I know something, and then when I look it up to try and back it up, I find out that there's millions of people that are talking on the internet about these things as well, and talking in seminars and conferences, and like I said right at the top of the video, now on national news in America. So this is because the awakening happens so fast, because starseeds have been on quite similar missions in other planets, as I talk about in one of my previous videos that I'll explain a little bit. When we come to, it's something that's quite difficult to get your head around, and something that took me a little time to get around, that whole ego structure of what we're used to, that belief structure on the human planet, and open on our mind to how much more is out there. So as a starseed, we exist in our spiritual self in a higher plane in the universe in a non-physical form. So that means we're able to incarnate into hundreds and thousands of different beings in different worlds and in different dimensions. So there could be 4 or 5 of yourself existing in different dimensions at this moment in time simultaneously. So because we've been on similar missions and quite familiar with the procedures and techniques for raising consciousness, when you have this spiritual awakening, it can just be like a boom inside of you, and it can be quite daunting, and you can have quite a lot of doubt and think, am I going crazy? Is this for real? I myself, when I went through my spiritual awakening, coming from a purely scientific background, had some real doubt about what is this? Am I going mad? Am I going mad? As everyone knows, when I talk in my video, I was in a very low place. I just tried to end my life. So I thought, well, is this just the next stage? But then through my research, through looking on the internet and seeing the works of Dolores Cannon over the last 30, 40 years, seeing websites like Gaia.com, where literally 5 million people subscribe. Gaia.com is a subscription website that teaches you about the spirituality, that basically teaches you the new belief system and the new and this new way of being. And this isn't some little crackpot website that you know a few people contribute to, like conspiracy theorists. There are literally millions and millions of videos, books and resources, and over 6 million subscribers to this channel that go there to this website for the information. Take a look at it. There's some really interesting stuff on the works of the law of attraction, the law of one, or the Book of Ra, which is the first ever hypnosis connection with a higher being or an alien self that occurred in 1984. That's a series of 6 volumes of books that they've taken the meditations and the regressions that were voice recorded in the 1980s and turned them into a book. On my YouTube channel, I will be verbalising that book as well, because I know some people don't like to read or just haven't got the time, so I will be verbalising that in bite-sized pieces. But what I'm trying to say is this whole concept, while it may seem that it's something completely crazy and out there and just throwing everyone off balance, once you start to undertake to just look with open eyes, you will see throughout the world, on the internet, on the TV, on mainstream news, on credible documentaries on the History Channel and on Netflix, that this is something that's happening the world over. And this is something that is an actual belief structure that millions of people are connecting to, and millions of people are focusing their efforts on trying to raise the vibration of the planet. So the concept, so like I say, the concept, if you're watching this now and you still haven't turned up thinking this guy is crazy, then the concepts of starships, intergalactic travel, various psychic phenomena like telepathy, spiritual healing, the powers of the minds, and other life forms in other galaxy probably seem quite natural to you, and it's something that you're quite comfortable with, and that already points to the fact that you are actually a starseed or light worker that may or may not have yet awakened. So we've talked a little bit about starseed and what they are. What are we here to do? Why have we chosen to come here to Earth? So why did we choose to incarnate into a human form, choose our parents and our life path for this spiritual awakening, to undertake what is essentially a mammoth task to raise your vibration and to shed unconditional love and bliss and happiness across the world by emanating your own happiness and love and bliss? Why? What is our mission? Why have we chosen to do this? So the Starseed and Lightworker task is actually a really difficult one. And it is a really difficult task to perform in a very dense dimension such as ours. The Earth, our dimension as we know it, is by design a very difficult game. I always try and relate this to it's almost like playing a computer game. We've incarnated in a planet that has a massive negative vibration at the moment. All you've got to do is flick on the news, and you've got at the moment the thing is Brexit and making a big thing about Boris forced some members of parliament to get death threats, and then you've got this whole climate change thing where people are so angry about what's happening to the planet and have we caused it. Or you turn on the news, it's full of death and destruction. You turn on soaps and they're full of negative thing. By design, this is a very, very negatively dense planet, and we were handpicked from our galaxy and beyond. So a few of us would volunteer to do this at our own risk of forgetting who we are, which is a higher spiritual being that doesn't have a physical form, that is capable of manifesting anything we want with all the power in the universe. Like I said, the principle is, if you imagine how powerful our sun is one of the smallest stars in the universe. There are stars at the edge of our Milky Way that we know about that are 100,000 times heavier than our sun, 100,000 times the mass, but as big as a basketball. Now, it's almost impossible for a lot of mainstream people to comprehend the power that is involved in that, and that's the principle. A star is light, and light is energy, and that's the principle of what we are. We're a spiritual being existing as a star energy that has an infinite power isn't bound by space and time and the physical realm. So we volunteer to come here at the risk of forgetting who we are and the risk of losing our connection with our higher self. Now, although we make up a very small percentage of the Earth's population, as in being activated or having the potential to be activated, our mission is great and varied. Primarily, the first mission, if you like, is to go through your physical life and attempt to remember who you are, to make their connection to your higher self and go through, I guess, a transformational process to become whole, centered and connected with your higher self. Once you realize who you are, we can then begin to help enlighten other earth souls and really anchor that light and that positivity to the earth. Starseeds are also here in this, as in a divine intervention, as to coin a phrase, from a higher dimension down to our physical world. This planet cannot survive without some sort of intervention. There's too much negativity in the human form. There is too much destruction in the world. There's too much of the negative vibration, so all the emotions that are considered negative, so that's anger, anxiety, guilt, fear, envy, all of these things that bring us down as individuals, as human beings. This planet cannot survive this way without our intervention. Humans will end up killing themselves and the planet, and that's why we come here. We provide the missing link in closing the loop between the galaxy, spiritualism, and space and time, and help our planet. Starseeds are awakened really to help anchor light, to help anchor that light, to help perform rituals, to help meditate and focus energetically upon situations and change a good for all. Because by changing your vibration and by changing how you feel, you always get a reflection of what you deserve, and the people that you're surrounding yourself with, you cannot help but help raise their vibrations as well. It's like, how I relate it is, if you're having a really shit day, and sorry, I shouldn't share that. If you're having a really bad day and you're in a really bad mood, or let me think of it a different way. Have you ever been in a really great mood? You've woke up, thought today's going to be a really good day, and then boom, the first person you bump into, you could be going to work or you could be doing the school run, and you bump into that person that is like, hey, good morning, how you doing? And oh yeah, rubbish, woke up late, I feel like crap, didn't sleep well last night, it's only Wednesday, it should be Friday, blah 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 blah. And suddenly, within 10 minutes of talking to this person, instead of having that positive, happy vibration that you've had when you've left the house, you suddenly feel a bit flat, and their vibration has passed on to you. Now, our job as Lightworkers and Starseeds is to focus energetically and help raise the vibration and help counteract that a little bit. So there's many. So I've spoke generally about starseeds and lightworkers and walk-ins, and I'm gonna now talk about the difference between what is a starseed, what is a walk-in, and what is a lightworker. So a starseed, first of all. So a starseed has come here from another civilization, another universe, and we've reincarnated as human bodies. In truth, we have many different forms in the universe, both that are human and that aren't human. Many starseeds like myself will feel that this is true, even though you don't have any hard information available to yourself to confirm it, but there are some things that you can relate to that know that you've got a connection far stronger and a vibrations far stronger than anything else. So there, you may be drawn to animals or other different types of creatures on the earth. You may be drawn to a particular animal, for instance. So you may have a loving of dolphins or polar bears or monkeys, and just whenever there's something about them that you're drawn to. Some people use the phrase, if I was reincarnated again, I would want to be a polar bear. Now, generally what that means when you're spiritually aware is that it's because that particular animal or creature closely resembles your true life form. So, for instance, if you're drawn to dolphins, as I spoke about just at the top there is a whole race of beings called the Nomans who live on a planet in the Sirius star system. And later on we'll talk about the different star systems and the different traits of starseeds, because as well as obviously there being the difference between starseeds, lightworkers and walk-ins, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of different types, and we'll talk about some of the mainstream ones. So I've explained what a starseed is. Okay, so a starseed is essentially reincarnated here to raise the vibration of the earth, and also a starseed has undertook a mission to help awaken others. So that's the reason for me doing these videos on YouTube constantly, trying to do a wide range of videos to try and help people. I generally do my videos for no other reason than I want to help primarily no one ever feel as low as I did before when I wanted to take my own life. That's first off. Secondly, the meditations that I do on my videos, the plans that I talk through on my videos, and the experiences I talk through have changed my life and helped me feel absolutely amazing. And I want to share that with everyone. So not for any personal gain, not for any other reason than I want everyone to feel that high vibration. I want everyone to feel as great as I do, whether you connect with being a starseed or not. Now, that's a starseed's mission, to try and promote that in other people. A light worker is just someone that's spiritually aware, someone that's aware that there is something else out there. It could be in the form of, they could believe in Reiki or meditation or something else. They don't necessarily connect with being a starseed, but they themselves have a mission to spread light and love across through the world. Now, that can be in the forms of being like I say, a Reiki healer. It could be in forms of being, I don't know, a psychologist. But it's just someone that's generally good. Could be someone, a musician. And we'll talk, if you hang on till later on in the video, I'm going to talk about some famous starseeds, which is going to blow your mind as well. So that's the difference. There are some other factors that affect your starseed identity as well, and where you come from and what your background is, as if you like. But there's some common connections. So some of the factors that indicate your identity as a starseed are that you have an intense sense of loneliness. So you can be surrounded by many loving people, you can have a great family connection, you can have great friends, you can be the life and the soul of the party, but essentially when you're on your own, or even in these situations, deep down you have an intense sense of loneliness. Or you feel like you don't quite belong to your family. We can sometimes, as humans, you might have heard, you know, the jokey phrase, "Oh, I think I was adopted." You know, that's the start of that seed of your awakening that you don't really belong from your earth family. Other factors and similarities as well is you have if you've got, and you're still watching, you will have, I guess, like me, a fascination with the stars. And I always feel, when you look at the stars, I've heard people use the phrase, it's as though you feel at home. I think that's getting a little bit into the whole sort of I'm an alien kind of thing and turning it into something it's not. So I won't use that, but I feel, I can kind of relate to people when they say they feel that the stars are home, in the sense that it feels, when I look up at the stars at night, I feel comforted, I feel relaxed, I feel, you know when you come in from a long day and you come into your house and you put some low lights on, maybe put some music on, sit on your sofa, relax, and with your family or your loved ones, you look around and think, yeah, this is it. Well, I'm guessing there's quite a few of you that will have a similar type of feeling in themselves when you look up at the stars. And another trait that all starseeds have is you begin to question the Earth at an early age and begin to question everything. And this inherently, I would probably guess that 90% of you watching right now will say that they are the black sheep of the family. And you're just, as a black sheep, you're drawn to the whole metaphysics or what else is out there, as you're seeking answers to why you feel so alone and why you feel you don't fit in on the Earth. But the good news is I have the answers for you, and it's gonna change your life forever as it has mine. Some of these other traits that you will relate to is most starseeds have an adversarious or confrontational relationship with one of your parents. Majority of starseeds share some common physical traits. Now this is quite interesting. Majority of starseeds, should I say, not sheeps. Majority of starseeds will have the facial shape of their mother, but the remainder of their physical body is like that of the father's, or the other parallel. So you might have the facial shape of your father, but the remainder of your physical body is like your mother. And this is dependent on which parent is the real parent, the starseed parent from off planet. And this is done for a reason. We have to remember throughout this, we chose to come here, and we chose this path, and we chose our parents, and we chose our life experience to bring us to where we are today, which is watching this video, thinking and connecting with any or some of what I'm talking about, and beginning that progress into spiritual awareness. Now, there is a common fact. Now, this is backed up by some scientific research as well. I'm not going to link today to lots of scientific discoveries that I've made on the internet, because I'm very keen on self-discovery. I encourage anyone that is connected to what I'm talking about today to do their own research and have a look for the science to back up what I'm talking about, and I will tell you it's out there. But what I don't want to do is falsely guide anyone. What my goal is and mission is to give you the information to be curious, to give you an information to connect and know that you are a starseed or a light worker if you're watching this, and then allow you, like I have, to look and find the science behind the spirituality so you can really connect with the facts. So having said that, the fact that I found is the majority of starseed carry an extra gene in their DNA. Now this is often referred to as a crystal gene for DNA recoding or ascension to the higher dimension. So this so-called crystal gene enables you to easily channel and access connections to your higher selves in other dimensions, as well as it allows you to recode your DNA. And there's been lots of instances of starseeders and light workers being able to recover from quite serious illnesses like cancer, leukemia, and acute and long-term conditions as well. But like I say, do the research yourself. Don't just take my word for it as some crazy fool on YouTube. Trust me, the science is out there. Now, another common trait of all starseeds, and this one is me in particular, is that you'll have a lower than normal body temperature. So this means you'll have an inability to handle heat. So if you're that type of person that when you're driving in the car, even if it's a cold day and you've got the heat on, you can't stand to have the heat blowing on you. Or like me, I'm the guy in the office when everyone's got their jacket, their winter fleeces on, and the heating turned right up. I'm still in like a short sleeve t-shirt and I'm sweating my ass off, for the want of a better word, because I'm so warm. So Now, in addition to that, we all need to know that although the whole evolution process is rapidly accelerating along with these new higher energies, we are all experiencing changes in our own way and in our own time, according to who we are. And generally speaking, the ascension process, and when I talk about the ascension process, for any of you that aren't familiar with that word, the ascension process is the transition or the awakening to your higher self and spiritual awareness. So generally speaking, our own ascension process relates to how we each run our individual energies and what our beliefs and experiences are. Now, this could be summed up in one word: how we vibrate. And how we vibrate is how other people perceive us. So if we go back to the top of the video when I talked about those negative people, and when you're around those negative people and you haven't raised your own vibration and made that conscious choice to spread unconditional love and not engage with lower vibration negativity, if you encounter that person that is, oh, today's shit was really rubbish, work's rubbish, it's raining, I'm cold, if you haven't raised your vibration spiritual awareness, you notice yourself, you're sitting in a room and you're thinking, oh God, and you start to feel like that as well. So how we start our ascension is based on our beliefs and our experiences. Now, these can be changed, and they'll also change throughout time as we clear ourselves of our own negativity and those around us and embody more light. And you will find this process to be peaceful and full of light and full of happiness. It is, and it can, and it will feel as though you're in a pressure cooker at times. So you'll feel, before your awakening, if you're starting to have your awakening and you're a period where you feel all this intense nervous energy or stress, remember that it's now is part of you adjusting to a higher vibration, and you'll eventually adjust and get used to it. And old patterns and old behaviours of lower vibrations and negativity and beliefs will be pushed to the surface. There is a heck of a lot going on inside Starseeds and Lightworkers right now. It is the time of the spiritual awakening. So it's not uncommon for you to have a feeling of disorientation and not knowing where you are. This is just you in the process of moving in connection with your higher self. Now, one of the other things that a lot of people connect with, and you may be going through right now, is if you're going through unusual aches and pains in different parts of your body that perhaps you haven't had before. This is you now as part of your spiritual awakening, purifying and releasing your blocked energy. Okay, you've been vibrating at 3D, third dimension for your whole life up until now, and there needs to be a way of this to release, to move into the fourth and fifth dimension of higher vibrations. So ultimately, that's going to have some physical effects. The other subsequent downside of your spiritual awakening is that if at the moment you'll find yourself waking up at perhaps between 2 and 4 a.m. in the morning. This is because much is going on in your dream state, and those that have watched my videos on YouTube will understand, or for those that you don't, although we exist in many different forms at many different times, all of our physical bodies can only be, all of our physical existence like us now, can only be awake while our higher self is asleep, and vice versa. So when we're asleep, our higher self is awake. Think a little bit like the Avatar movie, and you'll get what I mean. So that waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. is because of what's going on in your dream state. You are connecting with your higher self for long lengths of time when you're asleep, and that wakefulness between 2 and 4 is you needing a break. And also, more highly evolved individuals spending more time on the earth as you're highly evolving too. You will also have periods of deep sleeping. Now, this is all part of the rest period while you're integrating and learning about your new awakening and your new connections. Now, something that a lot of you may be going through right now, which is perfectly normal, is heightened sensitivities to food and surrounding, crowds, noise. You might find, as I have, your taste in food changes, or other stimulations become intolerable. Now, all of this is because of your change, and one of the major things that you will notice, and I've noticed, is if you have a complete, you're watching this right now, and you have a complete intolerance for lower vibrational things. So if you start to feel physically sick or mentally sick, or just want to separate yourself from people that are having conversations or attitudes or societal structures that are negative, that lower vibration, that rah, 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 then that's because you're in a higher vibration and your energies are no longer alignment, so you're being pushed to move forward and away from them. So that's part of it. So as such, you might have a sudden disappearance of friends and activities, because as you evolve beyond what you used to be, these people and these new surroundings no longer match your vibration. But don't worry about it. This is all part of the extension process, all part of the change process. So other things that you may notice, you may need to eat often, and you may have like real low blood sugar where you just crave something chocolatey and sweet. This is, again, you putting fuel to the process. So this is all helping to understand and relate to what is going on with the spiritual awareness and your Starseed or Lightworker status. So don't worry, you're not going insane, you're not developing some sort of mental illness, you're just really experiencing several dimensions and opportunities opening, and so much more is available to you right now. You're just not used to it. Your awareness has been heightened and your barriers are gone, and this can be really scary. You know, it can cause anxiety and panic. Your human ego system is losing itself, and this can make you inherently afraid. You could start to have depression. The outer world may feel in alignment, and you might start to have vivid, wild, and sometimes violent dreams. That's because you're releasing so many lifetimes of lower vibrations. So you need to have a release. The way I can relate to this is you can only release things in a way that you know is physically possible. The way that I explain it, and I've explained it before, is you've got so much going on outside of your human body that you don't understand, and your mind needs a way to comprehend that. So the way that I explain the vivid and violent dreams of you removing your lower vibrations is a very simple example. If you suddenly became blind and you'd seen before, you would know, and someone would be able to explain to you what the colour red is. Now, what I want to say to you, what I want you to just take in for a second, if you were talking to someone that had never had sight in their life, that had been blind since birth, how would you explain the colour red to them? It's impossible, because they have no reference point. They don't have any reference of what that red is. You cannot explain the colour red to somebody that's never seen it. So likewise, with your spiritual awakening and awakening to all these things that you've not seen before and you can't comprehend, they need to manifest themselves into something your mind can comprehend. So vivid, violent dreams and things like that. Likewise, you can experience even more vivid, beautiful dreams than you've ever had before, or, you know, a variety of in between. So this is just part of your, I don't know, I guess the awakening and the change process, you know. And as part of that, there can be physical changes, so you can get flu-like symptoms. So if you've recently been having fevers or temporary fevers, like you feel like you've had flu for half a day or a day, this is all part of the extension, and this can go along with ringing in the ears and heart palpitations, because you're going through a massive change. So that's really covered, I guess, what is a Starseeder and a Lightworker. I guess it's covered the differences between Starseeds and Lightworkers and walk-ins, and I guess it covers a little bit about what you could be experiencing right now, and I guess it could be explaining a little bit, if you're still watching this and you're still connected with what you probably either know in the back of your mind, or it's something that's in the forefront of your mind. So this is starting to trigger, and you know, you can relate to the fact that we are all in fact starborn in one way. Now there's some common characteristics that's really, really interesting about starseeds and lightworkers. So any starseed or lightworker, their eyes have a really extremely compelling quality. So if you're the type of person that people always get drawn to look into your eyes, or there's a certain mystic quality about the eyes, starseeds have a great magnetism and personal charisma. So you could have, like myself, I've got lots of different friends in lots of different groups, you know, the typical labels of groups: party people, rock people, all that sort of thing, that wouldn't interact together, but I get on absolutely fantastically with them all in the different circles. So out of starseeds and lightworkers, 65% are female and 35% are male. About 80% have had or will have chronic sinusitis, so runny noses. Almost all starseeds and lightworkers, up to 97%, if you have a hypersensitivity to sound or light or odours, so certain sounds or certain smells or certain lights affect you more than they do other people, that is a starseed. 93% of starseeds have experienced or will or still continue to have for quite some time a pain in the back of the neck, just in the back of the base of the neck there on the spine. 3/4 of starseeds have a adversity to dealing with expressing emotions, and the list goes on. There's many different facts which I'm going to put in one of my videos later on, so that you can read at a later date, because I don't want to really talk in too much detail about all these systems. But if you're relating to any of this tonight, and you're someone, like I say, that has been in an experience before where you've cried for no apparent reason, or you've withdrawn from family relationships, any of the things I've talked about tonight, and you're still connected and still watching, that means that you must be a starseed or a lightworker, and you're not alone. And what I want to help you to do is activate yourself and raise your own vibration, because as a byproduct of raising your vibration, as you'll see in my videos Unlocking the Matrix, where I talk about a tailor-made structure that I can make for you to manifest your own reality, your own happiness. By connecting with this and by raising your vibrations, the very least that you're going to do is turn around and make your life amazing and really give yourself happiness and fulfillment. And what I wanted to leave you lastly with tonight is, if you've connected with any of this tonight, please go over to my YouTube channel. Just search on YouTube Ben Hunter Starseed and watch through my videos, and hit subscribe so you get the notification of the new videos as they come up. I'm trying to do them twice a week at the moment. And secondly, there's a very complicated thing called astrology chart mapping, which is an incredibly complicated map that basically plots the star gamma rays and the star solar system and the light system on the day that you were born, and the position of all starseeds matches a certain criteria. This is incredibly complicated, and it's not something I'm greatly familiar with myself, but I will be talking more about it on my videos. However, through my research, I've found some pretty interesting facts. So through this chart mapping, we have found that it's been discovered that the following people all are starseeds and all born in the same matter. And what you'll see when I read through them is they all share some pretty cool characteristics. So famous starseeds that are born in this astronomical chart in the same period that marks that higher DNA and that starseed status. So we have Buzz Aldrin, obviously on the Apollo 11, Bono. Some more starseeds are Russell Crowe, Ellen DeGeneres, Albert Einstein, Jimi Hendrix, Angelina Jolie, Martin Luther King, Bob Marley, John Lennon, Barack Obama, Keanu Reeves, to name some more, Princess Diana, Mother Teresa, and Mahatma Gandhi, and lastly Oprah Winfrey. So what you start to see a pattern of the types of people, and these are people that generally spread their light across the world and generally have an inherentness to want to do good or help others, however their choice of medium may be. So you're not alone. Some other famous starseeds include Paul McCartney and Shakespeare, and Brad Pitt. So you can see that philanthropist personality come through. So that's a little bit more about what a starseed or light worker is, because I know a lot of people have been asking me on my YouTube channel to explain a little bit more about it. I encourage you to go on my YouTube and watch through my videos to really help yourself connect and lock in with this, because if you're still watching now, I tell you now, you are a starseed and a light work or a light worker, and through helping you through my videos with your awakening, you'll raise your vibration and you'll change your life for the better, for good, and that's only going to help the planet raise its vibration and help create a better environment and a high vibration environment of love and bliss for our children and our children's children as part of this great awakeness and this great extension. On my live video that I did on YouTube, I talk about the unlocking the matrix and how our mind manifests our reality, and I show examples of my daily routine for raising my awareness and unlocking the matrix. I am offered a tailor-made plan for that fits around your life through consultation with myself. So which I've got an offer on until the 1st of October, which is just £10 for a bespoke, tailor-made law of attraction, unlocking the matrix for yourself. If that's something you're interested in, drop me a private message and we can talk a little bit more about it. I'm also offering physical face-to-face assistance through meditation with either your starseed awakening or letting go of past events as part of helping with your spiritual awakening, helping you to identify through deep hypnosis when the period of time is that you stopped feeling worthy. I'm doing a meditation on that, and I'm also doing a meditation on activating your DNA as well as some general healing. If that's something you're interested in as well, that is a bespoke service, so there is some questions and answers prior to doing that session, and I'm doing those sessions for the next 30 days. They're £20 per meditation, which lasts an hour. Again, if that's something you're interested in, drop me a message on either of those. Otherwise, if you've got any questions about anything I've raised today, again, this is interactive, so feel free to drop me a message and we can discuss and talk through it. Failing that, please hit subscribe on my YouTube channel, continue to watch the content. I do really urge everyone that hasn't been through their Starseed Awakening, at least try one Starseed Awakening deep meditation session with myself. It will change your life, as well as one letting go exercise to identify something in your subconscious which is preventing you from giving yourself a happy life. And for the sake of £10, a complete law of attraction bespoke guide for you for how to set up your day to be truly happy with yourself. That's not much of an investment to change your life forever. But for now, I'm going to leave you to think all of that. If you've got any questions, please PM me. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ben Hunter Starseed, as well as checking out all the comment. And as always, peace, light and love. Thank you all for watching. Good evening.